Justin Baldoni's lawyer, Brian Freedman, grilled on Blakelively in contentious interview.
Strange whispers have been echoing through Hollywood's corridors, and they all point to a single explosive courtroom battle. Justin Baldoni, widely admired for his positive outlook and acting chops, has suddenly found himself at the center of an all-out war with a co-star once thought untouchable. At first glance, it looked like just another round of celebrity chatter until the accusations got so big, so fast, and so twisted that even Hollywood insiders started taking sides.
You say with certainty that your client did not harass her?
I can say that with certainty that my client is one of the most honorable people I've ever met.
But here's the catch. The details emerging from leaked documents and legal countersuits paint a drastically different picture than what most fans first believed. Rumor after rumor hit the press in what seemed like a carefully timed ambush. One magazine published an exposé accusing Baldoni of appalling behavior. Another revealed sources backing these claims, and suddenly it felt like the entire industry was turning on him. Yet the second his lawyer, Brian Freedman, stepped up to the microphone, everything flipped. Freedman insists these allegations were orchestrated from start to finish, pointing to suspiciously timed articles and carefully worded interviews as proof of a smear campaign. According to him, the real story is far more scandalous. This whole fiasco might have been a calculated move to protect certain A-list reputations rather than a simple call-out of wrongdoing. What really tipped the scale? Leaks from internal messages, 170 pages of them, if Freedman's count is correct, allegedly show the other party coordinating directly with top-tier news outlets. The claims are explosive. Critics argue that these documents reveal attempts to manipulate public opinion, set release dates for specific articles, and ensure that certain unflattering facts about Baldoni dominated the headlines before he even had time to defend himself. Freedman calls these hit pieces, adding that the focus was never about justice, but rather about controlling the narrative, no matter whose career was trampled in the process. At first, a lot of people assumed the star power of Ryan Reynolds and pop icon Taylor Swift was only tangential, there in the background because of personal friendships. But Freedman's startling revelations suggest their influence was possibly leveraged to tighten the media pressure around Baldoni. In one bizarre moment, the star accusing Baldoni allegedly referred to Reynolds and Swift as her dragons, painting this image of powerful protectors ready to breathe fire on any threat. Swift, meanwhile, has stayed suspiciously silent. For someone who famously speaks out against wrongdoing, often transforming personal conflicts into award-winning tracks, her refusal to publicly support or endorse these claims raised more than a few eyebrows. Freedman's biggest point of contention is timing.
You don't want to believe that execs at the very tippity top are being essentially threatened or bullied or coerced or extorted and by a couple like Ryan and Blake or like Taylor Swift.
How did national publications come out with these allegations at precisely the same moment a lawsuit was filed? Why did they provide Baldoni's team only a handful of hours, mostly after office hours, on a holiday weekend, to respond to accusations that had apparently been in the works for months? If this truly was about shining a light on misconduct, Freedman wonders why the coverage was so meticulously orchestrated, almost like a strategic strike designed to cause maximum career damage rather than a good faith effort to uncover the truth. As the behind-the-scenes power plays roll in, one name keeps surfacing: Ari Emanuel, the CEO of the major talent agency WME. Known for his larger-than-life presence in Hollywood, Emanuel reportedly made a calculated decision. Once the allegations hit, WME swiftly dropped Baldoni, backing the higher-earning actors instead. No surprise to cynics who believe profit often overshadows loyalty in show business. Emanuel even appeared on a podcast hinting that if these allegations are true, then Baldoni must be a terrible guy, effectively convicting him in the court of public opinion with one well-chosen if. His words, Freedman suggests, reflect the exact brand of corporate loyalty that sacrifices any lesser star to preserve the biggest moneymakers on the roster. And then there was the Saturday Night Live controversy. In the midst of a serious harassment claim, the accusing party and her husband reportedly made light of the entire situation on SNL's 50th anniversary special. Viewers were left confused. If you're suffering from genuine trauma, Freedman pointed out, why laugh about it on live television? That on-screen moment became the subject of scorching criticism.
So that's really a huge win for Justin Baldoni.
Even longtime fans wondered if the entire narrative had been exaggerated for attention, or worse, weaponized as a publicity stunt. Freedman hints that footage of those jokes might become damning evidence if this goes to trial, questioning how any jury would react to an alleged victim giggling about the very issue she insists nearly destroyed her well-being. Meanwhile, Baldoni isn't backing down. His countersuit blasts all these allegations as defamatory, demanding a jaw-dropping $400 million for career and reputation damage. Freedman has stated Baldoni will not settle unless every false claim is publicly retracted. That sets the stage for a legal showdown that could reshape how Hollywood navigates accusations in the press. If Freedman has his way, he'll drag every email, text message, and phone call linked to those meticulously timed articles into the light, potentially exposing how far certain power players went to manipulate public sentiment. What's equally shocking is that the accusing side has demanded Baldoni's personal communications, 2 years worth of his messages, calls, and emails. Freedman responded in kind, pushing to uncover every last scrap of text or email that might show how these stories were planted. If the judge grants this request, the public may finally see the inner workings of a celebrity scandal machine, from PR strategy memos to direct instructions telling journalists what, when, and how to publish. At this point, it seems each side is calling the other's bluff, and it's only a matter of time before new revelations blow this even wider open. So where does that leave us? If these claims are true, we're dealing with one of the most brazen reputational takedowns in recent history. If they're false, then we're watching a masterclass in how to spin a false narrative against someone for personal or financial gain. Either way, Hollywood is holding its breath. Industry veterans are quietly shifting allegiances, trying to guess which side of this story will hold up in court. If Freedman proves even half of what he alleges, the fallout could make future smear campaigns much harder to pull off. If the allegations against Baldoni gain credence, it might strengthen calls for more scrutiny and accountability on set, especially in big budget productions involving high-profile stars.
She wants different rules for her than she wants for Baldoni and his team, which I don't think the judge will agree with.
And if I were her attorney, I'd want to get out of this case before she has to sit for deposition, not just because it might be bad for the case, but PR-wise, it's not going to be good.
Every expert's going to skew it towards their view of the case. And then the penultimate question to the expert is, but you agree with me, the jury is able to determine for themselves what this video is showing.
This legal showdown has already reshaped the conversation about power, reputation, and ambition in Hollywood. For years, the industry has operated under an unspoken code: protect the biggest earners and let all else fall by the wayside. Now, Baldoni's countersuit threatens to blow that code apart. If he wins, it sends a seismic message that weaponizing the press for personal gain can carry devastating consequences. The specter of a $400 million payout looms like a warning. No matter how beloved or famous the accuser is, no one's allegations are above scrutiny. On the other hand, if the accusations hold and Baldoni is found at fault, we could see an even stronger push for on-set accountability, formal HR protections, and more transparent dealings in Hollywood. The courts might demand that every production company, from major studios to small indies, adopt rigorous systems that ensure actors and crew can safely report misconduct. In that scenario, Lively would have sparked an overdue industry-wide policy change, even if the process was messy and mired in controversy. Yet what makes this case especially incendiary is its massive spotlight on public perception. Every strategic press leak, every late-night headline, and every talk show quip underscores the same theme. In Hollywood, spinning a story is just as important, if not more so, than telling the truth. People watch from the sidelines, trying to decode carefully worded statements and guess which rumor is legit and which is a planted distraction. It's a whirlwind of half-truths, misdirection, and occasionally valid claims that make it nearly impossible to pin down who's telling the real story. The ripple effects don't stop at the two main parties either, Ryan Reynolds and Taylor Swift. By virtue of being powerful figures possibly linked to this drama, risk public skepticism if more evidence surfaces about their roles. Ari Emanuel has already stepped into the fire, revealing how fragile agency relationships can be once a scandal jeopardizes the income stream. And the media, too, might face greater pressure to show receipts for its stories or risk defamation suits of its own if it fails to maintain journalistic integrity. From a cultural standpoint, the court of public opinion is just as influential as any judge or jury. Already, social media divides have formed. Some fans rally behind Baldoni, praising his willingness to fight back. Others argue that an A-list celebrity wouldn't risk her entire reputation without a legitimate reason. Every newly leaked text or surprising interview tiptoes the line between tragedy and sensationalism, leaving many to wonder how real justice can be achieved when the stakes are so high and the players so powerful. In the end, both parties might regret letting the drama escalate this far. The entertainment world thrives on reinvention, and reputations can sometimes bounce back, even after spectacular falls. But if Freedman follows through on exposing every detail of this alleged smear campaign, it could be that too much damage has already been done. Some fences, once burned, never truly mend. So what happens next? A trial looms as the ultimate battleground, one that could either affirm allegations or dismantle them entirely. Perhaps the two sides will strike an 11th hour settlement, quietly burying the scandal beneath mountains of paperwork and NDAs, or maybe they'll push all the way to a public verdict, risking reputations in a blaze of front page headlines. Whatever path they choose, the consequences will reverberate for a long time, with Hollywood forced to reckon with how easily public perception can be swayed, and how quickly a bright career can be plunged into crisis. Until a judge delivers the final word, we can only watch from the sidelines, sifting through each new piece of evidence and wondering who's telling the truth. One thing seems certain: the impact of this dispute will linger far beyond the last day in court, challenging the industry's habit of backroom deals and hush-hush settlements. In the process, it just might force everyone, from movie stars to studio executives, to confront a question they'd rather avoid: when does manufactured drama cross the line into calculated destruction? Perhaps when this story is finally done, the biggest lesson Hollywood learns is also the simplest. Wielding star power and media influence recklessly can backfire in ways no one saw coming. And in an era where public opinion can shift in a heartbeat, reputations built over decades can vanish overnight, especially if there's a paper trail leading back to manufactured rumors, silent bystanders, and meticulously timed hits in the press. For now, though, all we can do is wait to see which truths rise to the surface and which reputations sink under the weight of these swirling accusations. One thing's for sure: if this saga has taught us anything, it's that appearances can be deceiving, even in a business built almost entirely on make-believe. And as the curtain falls on Act 1 of this real-life drama, the stakes have never been higher for everyone involved.